Okay, welcome everyone. Nice to see you. Really good. So let's sit for a few moments of quiet together, and we will start with a chant for class this morning. I'll just ask you first to come into your heart and your body, to settle into your presence with yourself. So you're welcome to close your eyes if that helps you. And whether you close your eyes or not, you try to have a sense of moving into kind of the interior, from the exterior to the interior. And depending on what the activities of your morning have been, and some of you are in a different time zone, so the activities of mid-morning or midday, just try to get a sense of what's happening right now in the inner ecology that is you. And allowing everything that's occurring, whatever it happens to be, we allow it to be present. So in this way, we act a little bit like a mirror. The mirror reflects whatever is in its view. It doesn't decide upon one thing and against another. So you can let your heart and your mind be like a mirror to see, to have reflected back whatever is present right now. And we bring to this kind of reflection really what we would call like a warm welcome to whatever that happens to be. The physical body feels vibrant and amazing. If you feel lethargic or dull, if you feel uneasy or agitated, whatever it happens to be on the spectrum, we actually practice welcoming it as it's information that we need to understand. And the same is true also for your mind. The mind habits, the heart, the habits of the heart. And from the most wise place in you, the most reflective, the place in you that's capable of being that open mirror, you begin to breathe more deeply and use the breath to refine your attention to come into the present moment, because here's an opportunity for understanding what is present in you and also understanding what of those things that are present needs your empathy or consideration. What of it is just the residue of daily life and can be easily sort of resolved? And are there deeper callings that you need to listen to this morning? To allow your breathing to become smoother, a little bit longer. Start the inhale low in the pelvis and let that rise up circumferentially to include the mid-torso, the heart, including the back of your heart. And then the exhale should be like a gentle, consistent tone in the deep low belly, helping to kind of usher the exhale out. Its exit pathway is through the nostrils. And as you're taking a seat here to begin your practice with awareness and then breath, and we're going to use a metered kind of breathing practice to see what is the experience we have just now. So if you'll gently count the length of your inhale and then gently count the length of your exhale for the purpose of gathering information, not for the purpose of modifying anything right now. When you have a sense of that length, whether the inhale is equal to the exhale or one is longer or shorter, then just take note of that. We will check it again in the course of the practice. So please bring your hands together now in Anjali Mudra. And we will sing to begin our time together. So you can follow me if you know it already. So of course, you sing with me. If you don't know it, I'll sing it 3 times and you can hear it first, Try it second and try it again on the third time. Om Bhurva Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimoi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhurva Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimoi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhurva Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimoi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Please open your eyes. And we are going to stay seated to begin this morning. And I'll ask Susie to take us to Alma's camera. She's already seated, and I'm going to go take my seat. We're going to start with some seated warm-ups so we can then check and see how does your breath respond. So from where you're sitting, please interlace your fingers and stretch the heels of your hands up towards the ceiling. Reach up high. Yeah, beautiful. And when you lift like that, let the rib cage lift up away from your pelvis at the same time that the pelvis gets to be heavy towards the floor. And see if you can lengthen your inhale by expanding a little bit more in the low abdomen, then the sides of the ribs, and then up into the heart. When you get to the top of the heart for the inhale, you actually have to sense the inhale can lift your sternum and your collarbones. And then exhale, push your hands out to the sides of your room. Exhale completely and cross your left hand over your right knee and please twist to your right. When you're twisting to your right, you can look over your right shoulder. You can also have the eyes closed. And try to sense the breath again, moving in this pattern where the first third of the breath is really in the pelvis. The second third goes laterally a little bit more to the side ribs, the back ribs. And the upper third includes the back of your heart, the front of your heart, and lifts towards your collarbones. And please do that twice more. Exhale completely. And then rotate around to face center. Please interlace your fingers. Change the interlace by 1 digit on the hands and inhale to go up. Try to get this sense, even though the arms are going up and there's this vertical ascent, we want the mid part of the breath to be able to expand laterally. And then the inhale includes your upper back and your shoulder blades. Let's inhale one more time, please, smoothly and deeply. And then as you exhale, push out to the sides of the room, lengthen your arms out to the sides, lengthen up through the crown of your skull, and then cross your right hand over your left knee, and please twist to your left. Now, if it's the first twist you have of the morning, you might get to notice that there are asymmetries in the spine. It's okay to acknowledge those, of course. It's in your awareness. But let your primary attention be on how you cultivate the pathway of the breath. And try to sense the inhale does include the first third is the pelvis, second third is the back waist and the side ribs. Upper third of the breath is into the heart, including the back of your heart. Exhale one more time, firmly in the low belly. And then rotate around to face forward, and Susie can come to my camera. We're going to inhale and take the arms up overhead once more. Then we're going to be adding some side bending. So first we go up with the inhale, and then we're going to exhale and bring the right hand down, side bend to your right. Reach your left arm past your left ear. There's the exhale breath. Please go to my phone camera, Susie. And then inhale to come back up, interlace the fingers, reach the hands high. And exhale, come down to your left. So your left hand finds the floor, and you come over. Let's repeat this a few times. So you can go to Alma's camera, and I'll get mine worked out yet. Inhale to go up. And then exhale, side bend to your right. Place the right hand firmly on the floor. Enjoy the side bend. And then inhale, rise up to center, clasp the hands again. And exhale, side bend to your left. We're going to make this a rhythm for 2 more breath cycles. So inhale, rise up to center. Imagine the ribs rising up like a hot air balloon. And then the exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, float back up. The hot air balloon goes up. And exhale, side bend to your left. And then last time, inhale up to center. And exhale, push out to the sides of the room. Lengthen up through your spine and bring your hands out over your knees. And then let's just pause for a moment. Let the breath go. So you're just going to notice the echo of what's happening in your body. And then place the tip of your tongue behind the top 2 teeth. Hollow the back of the throat and begin to bring in the most subtle form of your Ujjayi breath. Like we've been doing for the last several days, you're listening to that very subtle sound at the inner ear. When you come to the most subtle sound of the breath, it's going to require a quality of concentration and intimacy, patience, and confidence. And then you can count the breath for your own information gathering. What is the length of your inhale? And what is the length of your exhale? Okay, beautiful. Bring your hands to your heart just to acknowledge we're going to transition. Let's come up to standing. We'll stay with my camera for the moment, Susie. So when you come up, now take your horse stance, which you guys know I'm pretty fond of, especially for morning practice, and come down. This is to get the inner thighs warmed up, and then we'll repeat the practice we just had. We'll have a little twisting, we'll have a little overhead, little side bending. So press into your knees so that the inner thighs do stretch out from the center of the pelvis. Gently bow your head forward so it's in line with your spine. And see if you can sense the breath goes from the first third of the torso in the pelvis, mid third of the torso, sides of the waist, and then the back of your heart and the front of your heart. And watch the exhale process, beginning at the pelvic floor and then just above the pubic bone, and slowly, slowly up like a zipper towards your belly button and towards your solar plexus. Now turn your left fingers in on your left knee and twist to your right. And try to keep both arms straight so you're actually twisting, but the spine is staying centered in the pose. And as you twist, you can gaze to your right. You can also turn your head to the right and close your eyes. Try to imagine the back hemisphere of the body parachuting with the inhale, broadening. And still let yourself exhale quite completely so you can really sense the deep low belly participating in your exhale. One more time, exhale. You come to center and then turn your right fingers in, twist to your left. Notice the difference side to side. You may have some differences in your spine or your flexibility, but also you could have some differences in the inner body, which influences the pathway of the breath. So one more time, a complete exhale. With everything that you notice, again, you give it a warm welcome, like a mirror, accepting whatever is being seen. Turn to center and please rise up to standing. Keep the toes pointed out and let the tailbone come down. Try to sense into the front of your hip flexors right there. Now it's going to be a little bit more dynamic. So clasp your hands. When you inhale, sit down into your horse stance and take the arms up. There's your inhale. The exhale, side bend to your right. Good. Inhale up to center. Very nice. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale up to center. You're doing great. Exhale, side bend to your right. Again, inhale up to center. Exhale, side bend to your left. Notice the stamina that you have to cultivate now. We're going to do it twice more. So inhale, rise up to center. Exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, rise to center. Last time to your left. Nice job, thank you. Inhale, rise up to center, clasp the hands. And now exhale, push down to go up, sweep your arms wide. Momentarily, you're like a starfish. And then make the feet parallel and come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. And we can go to almost camera here. So when you come down to Prasarita, notice what happens for your body in terms of the cascade of the torso towards the floor. Keep the legs strong, but they have a different responsibility now. Think of the body as a vessel for the breath. Notice what quality of inhale you can cultivate right now. Qualities like smooth, steady, round, kind, nourishing. And keeping your legs stable, walk your hands forward so that your upper body will look a little bit like you're doing downward dog pose. Reach your hips way back for traction on the spine. And keeping your hips and legs where they are, walk your hands in a half circle to your right. And especially stretch your left hand out away from your left hip. So there is a side bend. The left rib cage will be larger, more open, more spacious than the right. The right rib cage will seem shorter, a little tighter. We are squeezing the right side and opening the left side. To get a real sense from the inside, the intimacy of the breath in your body. First third of the breath is in the pelvis. We broaden to the mid third. and then to the upper back and the heart. And all the while we're seeing like a mirror, reflecting whatever is present. We don't land on any one thing with a judgment or an evaluation. We simply keep observing and learning. And when you next exhale, walk in a half circle to the other side. So you can sweep your right hand out, lengthen the right side of your waist. Walk your right hip back away from your right hand. So there's a real sense that in both directions you're lengthening. Right hand and right hip. Observe the pathway of the breath, like very interesting, non-judgmental, open mirrors. You are seeing inside the landscape of the body, your psyche, your mind, your heart. And then please walk your hands back to center. Walk your hands towards your feet. Place your hands on your hips and rise up to standing. And come to my video. Take your feet into mountain pose, please. Okay, nice job with that. Really good. So let's stand for a moment of quiet and sense if you were the mirror-like surface of the water, one of my favorite images, you're standing in the center of that water, and all around you, it's profoundly clear and reflective. And imagine inside your inner capacity for that kind of reflection, like a mirror. Okay, we're going to take it to a couple spine twists that I want you to see. So that's why the camera's on my view. So if we take these two blocks down, I'm going to come back to a wide stance. You're going to get to decide how high the blocks need to be for you. I already have a sense for myself that when I come down, if I put my left forearm on this block, that feels like a good place for me to start. So here's one of the first forms of the twist. Then we come back down, and we're going to be deeply bending. In this case, I just bent my right knee and my right hip. I'm going to scoot this over like this. And then you open again. So in the first twist, we'll have both legs straight. In the second twist, we go to this sort of deep knee bend one where the hips and pelvis are going to say hello and good morning. Okay, so come down to your Prasarita Padottanasana. You could use two blocks if you need to stack them on top of each other, or you can stack two also like this. It's really based on your flexibility and the respect you can have for your hips and pelvis. Okay, so left forearm on the block. And let's inhale, twist to the right, open to your right. Exhale, unwind from the twist. We're going to repeat that. So inhale, open to your right. Press down into your left elbow. Keep your hips centered. And exhale to unwind from your twist. Exhale completely. Inhale again, twist right. Energize your left shoulder, left upper arm, left elbow. And exhale to unwind from the twist. Here's the last one. Inhale, twist to your right. And exhale to unwind from the twist. And then bend your right knee deeply, walk your block to the left so that your left elbow still gets to be directly under your left shoulder. You strengthen your left leg, and as you inhale, twist to your right. Keep the left leg very strong, please, and as you exhale, unwind from your twist. Let the right arm come down a little bit lower than the block if possible. Inhale, twist to your right. Press down through your left shoulder, left upper arm, left elbow. And exhale, slowly release, untwisting. And your right elbow may glide down past the block towards the floor. Inhale, open. We have 2 more. And exhale to descend. Last one. Inhale to open. Keep your left leg strong. And exhale to descend. Press into your right heel. Straighten both legs. Walk the block back to center. And let's change sides. So your right forearm can come to the block. And we're going to press down into the right elbow. Inhale, twist to your left. Thank you, Susie, for shifting the camera. Exhale, come down. So you're untwisting. And the left elbow can go towards the floor. It can go lower than the right elbow for some of you. Inhale, twist to your left. And you're going to exhale to unwind. And we'll do that twice more. The movement of the breath on the inhale, you want to keep your right leg and right elbow strong. And the breath will feel more confident that you're in charge here, and it need not go to one of those nervous system responses where there's fight or flight. Here's the last one. And exhale to release. And now we're going to bend the left knee deeply and walk your block over. Place your right forearm on the block once more. Now keep the right leg very strong. And as you inhale, twist to your left. And then exhale, slowly unwind. I know it might seem like your right leg, your inner thigh is having the most experience. You keep the right leg strong, and on the inhale, focus on how you can open with the twist like a sail on a ship. Then exhale to slowly unwind. And please do that twice more at the pace that is your breath cycle with your body. You're doing beautifully. Exhale to unwind. Here's your last one. When you release this one, go ahead and come back to center in your Prasarita Padottanasana. Let the torso cascade down towards the floor. You can change the block to be there for your head. And come back into that mirror-like experience where your mind can reflect back to you what you're seeing, what you're sensing, what you're feeling, like a mirror without any judgment. We're not telling a story about the sensations. We're not evaluating our capacity. You actually can just gaze like a loving mirror, no judgment, no apprehension, no harm. And then exhale completely, and please rise up to standing. Step your feet back together. Okay, so we're going to check now on our pranayama, and then we'll go to the sun salutation. So take a block like this to sit on in Vajrasana. Rest your hands in your lap. We've been doing some pranayama this week that some of you will recognize. For a couple of you, this is going to be an introduction. So rest your hands, palms face down, and come into your seat. This is called Zazen, like in Zen meditation, also called Vajrasana from yoga. Means thunderbolt pose. So come inside to sense the aliveness in the body. And if you picture yourself like that beautiful body of water, you're standing in it. It's very clear and very reflective. And in the nighttime, the full moon comes and you can see clearly on the surface of the water. Now using the most subtle form of the Ujjayi for your inhale, you're going to inhale that way, then we'll use the tiny cocktail straw exhale. We'll do this twice. And let's begin. And the tiny cocktail straw exhale. Smooth transition to the inhale, the most subtle form of your inhale. Doesn't mean that it's a wimpy breath. It can be a full quantity inhale, but very subtle. And then the tiny cocktail straw exhale, the pursed lips. You again complete the exhale. Now go from the most subtle ujjayi to a little bit more moderate, from subtle towards dynamic. And the exhale will be the straw exhale with a sound. Keep that sound all the way to the end of your exhale. Tone the low belly, tone and tone. And then smooth transition to your inhale. From the subtle to the slightly moderate form of your ujjayi. Now inhale, a little bit more dynamic ujjayi. A little more dynamic. And the exhale is going to be the sound of hum. Hum. Inhale again, the slightly more moderate, more dynamic version of your ujjayi. Hum. Now the most subtle ujjayi inhale. And the most subtle ujjayi exhale. And do that once more while you gently count the pace of the inhale and the pace of the exhale. And relax the breath practice. Let yourself be the reflective mirror. Whatever arises, this mirror can see without judging. Now we're going to step into the sun salutation, Surya Namaskar. So please rise up to standing with your 2 blocks for Surya Namaskar. And when you come up, you can place the 2 blocks at the front of your yoga mat. And come up to mountain pose. Yeah, good. Join your hands together at your heart. Now, since you guys are not beginners, you have some experience with yoga, you can have the physical body be dynamic. Doesn't have to be at the top of dynamic. It can be moderate dynamic, just enough to sustain the physical pose. Yoga calls this mitahara, a right use of your resources, a clear use of your resources. You're also capable of having the ujjayi be more subtle, not more like a dragon. So let's see, maybe more like a dragonfly, right? Subtle like that. So join the hands together at your heart. This morning we will use the tippy toe part of Urdhva Hastasana. So as you start inhaling ujjayi, take the hands down, raise your heels, raise your arms. At the high point of your lift, also lift your eyes. And then exhale, come down to chair pose. So you're going to lower your heels slowly and sit your hips back, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana, keep your heels grounded. As you rise up on this one, lift your heart into a little standing back bend. And then exhale, sweep your arms wide, bow forward, lightly touch the blocks, and then firmly use the blocks. Complete your exhalation. Inhale, glide your heart forward. Exhale, take your left toes straight back. Plant your right heel. Inhale, rise to your crescent lunge. And we're going to stay for several breath cycles here. So the arms act like earmuffs to the ears. So your listening can go inward to the most subtle sound of the ujjayi breath. You may also practice gently closing your eyes and become that clear mirror. So if you were doing this pose in a beautiful body of water at the right temperature, the mirror of the water would be clear all around you. You could even see the full moon on the water in the night sky. And as you gaze inside and you have the eyes closed, it's optional. As you gaze inside and listen inside, try to sense from your body intelligence what small adjustments are needed in your pose. Like how firm is your left big toe? Are the other toes helping? When you lift the pubic bone, do you lift the left side as much as the right? Do your hips feel level right now? Now when you start the exhale, sweep your arms wide and come over just to airplane pose. Then lightly touch the blocks. Inhale, step forward. Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen the crown of your skull forward. And exhale for a deep bow towards the legs. So you're going to use your hands more firmly at the bottom of the exhale. The exhale doesn't get more ferocious, but it does become complete. Inhale, glide forward. Lift the back of your heart, the base of your skull, the crown of your skull. Exhale, take your right toes straight back. Complete your exhale breath without urgency. And inhale, rise into your crescent lunge. Bring your arms up alongside your ears. They are like your earmuffs. And Susie, you can go to Alma's camera now. So when you're listening into the breath here, let that be another way to get a reflection. So we think of reflection as what we see. We can also have reflection from what we hear. And the first of our 5 senses in life is the sense of hearing. So listen for the smoothness of the breath, the silence of the pauses. As your mind becomes more refined like that, you can check in with the physical intelligence of your body. Do the toes share the responsibility equally right now? When you root your tailbone, do you have a sense that you're actually using the muscles under your left sitting bone? When you lift the pubic bone, is it right side and left side equally, or does it feel to you like your left hip might be higher than your right? And keeping this reflection, exhale, come over to airplane pose, energize your back leg to be strong. And then as you lightly touch the 2 blocks, now step backwards to downward facing dog pose. And in your downward dog pose, gaze back between your heels and toes so that what you're seeing are the footsteps on the path of yoga behind you. Beautiful. Yeah. And then let's come to my camera, Susie. We're going to inhale and roll forward to plank pose. We do have our hands on the blocks. Isometrically press your feet towards each other. That'll strengthen the inseam of the legs. Lengthen through the crown of your skull. And then as you exhale, press into your arms, parachute your back, and roll your knees down to cat pose. And then exhale to cow pose. Bring your heart forward. Good. Inhale to cat pose. Okay, exhale, reach back. Child's pose, we're only touching here briefly. Inhale, cat. Exhale, tiny straw exhale, cow pose. Inhale to cat. Exhale, hum sound, child's pose. Hum. Inhale, cat. Exhale, tiny straw. Exhale, cow pose. Inhale to cat. And then hum sound, child's pose. Hum. Now we'll inhale, forward table pose. Okay, plank pose. Downward facing dog pose. And in downward dog pose, notice any sense of freedom or energy that has moved or shifted. Enjoy a deep breath in, and then step playfully one foot to the top of your mat, followed by the other. And with your inhale, lengthen your spine, forward lift from the base of your skull and the crown of your skull. Okay, exhale for a deep bow towards the legs. Firm your hands on the block so the low belly becomes more toned. And now inhale, rise up, tippy toe, Urdhva Hastasana. Lift your gaze at the top of the breath. And then exhale, lower your heels, bring your hands to your heart, and arrive in mountain pose as you finish your exhale. Okay, we'll stay with my camera for right now. Now we're going to put that into a little bit different pace. So from something very reflective, a little bit of Rajasana. So with your inhale, hands down, start tippy toeing. Raise your torso, your heart, your eyes. And then exhale, come down to chair pose. So the heels arrive, the hips sit back. There's your chair pose. Bring your left arm to the inside of your left knee. Inhale, twist to your right. Good. Exhale to your chair pose. Come down with your right arm to the inside of your right knee. Inhale, twist to your left. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up, upward hands pose, heels ground, a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bow forward, complete the exhale, firm your hands to the blocks. Inhale, glide forward. Okay, left toes back. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Now we're going to do airplane pose 3 times with the sound of hum. Hum. Inhale to rise. Okay, hum sound. Hum. Inhale to rise. And then hum. Hum. Touch the two blocks. Inhale, float forward. Right foot forward, crown of the skull forward. Sorry, that was your left foot. Exhale, take your right toes back. Inhale to rise, crescent lunge. And then 3 times with the hum sound. Hum. Inhale to rise. Of course, at your own pace. Right, exhale forward. Hum. Inhale to rise. Joyfully in your own way. And then last one, exhale to hum. Hum. Then you touch the two blocks. Inhale, float backwards. Downward facing dog. Gaze back between your toes. And then inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, touch the knees down. Use one block for your head for child's pose. The other block you can scooch out of the way for now. And when you come down, rest your forehead on the edge of the block with the arms in Sphinx pose. And let your body experience the relaxation that's invited right now. Come back to the quality of the mind that can be like a mirror, reflecting whatever is present. Means you're also watching the ever-changing landscape of what is present. And then please walk your hands back towards your knees and put this block aside as well. And we'll go to Amma's camera. We're going to come down onto the abdomen for cobra pose. So you can lie down and place your hands beneath your shoulders so that the fingers are somewhere near the top line of the shoulders. And let's start with the toes pointed, and you can rest your forehead on the floor for a moment. So we're going to use this as a pranayama. We'll be rolling up with the inhale. By the way, the hum sound, this is really important for supporting your vagus nerve. And that's one reason that we do it. It increases higher vagal tone, which is to say this very important nerve pathway in the body that nourishes your gut-brain axis and elicits a state of compassion and benevolence and an inner feeling of goodness. So we'll use the inhale through the nose when we roll up, and then we're going to roll down using the hum sound to return the forehead to the floor. So let's begin with the inhale together, please. Inhale to roll up. Enjoy the high point of your cobra pose. And exhale to hum on the way down. Hum. Then you inhale to roll up. Hum. Twice more. Hum. One more. And then you bow the forehead to the floor for a moment. Keeping your hands beneath your shoulders and the toes pointed. Notice what is present inside. And then press into both hands firmly. Press up to table. Take one block to sit again in Vajrasana. Come up to sit. Nice job with that, you guys. So notice when you go to something a little bit more rajas, requires more energy, has more activity. Now when you come in to the plumb line, you just watch the ripples on the water or the dust on the mirror. It settles and it settles. And we get to become very clear, clear-hearted, clear-sighted. You do not need to create the breath right now. You can be the witness of the breath. Imagine yourself not only as the person standing in that body of water or kneeling for the moment, but you are also the water itself. You are the reflection on the water. You are the moonlight, the moon, and the sun that shines on the moon, even in the nighttime. I'm going to take us through a series of twisting poses because it's an important time of day for that. We are just before lunch, and also Pitta is coming into Oregon. The Pitta season is arriving early. So in these twisting poses, I'll demonstrate the first one. It'll be the highest form of the twist. Then we'll go incrementally down, and we'll go between my camera and Alma's camera. So I'm going to put 2 blocks at the front of my mat, and this is my right foot stepping forward. So when I come forward like this, I'm going to be using 2 blocks under my left hand as the support for the twist. So this will start with the 1 block flat, 1 block medium like this, and the right hand on the right knee. So I'm the highest up that I would want to be right now. Some of you might feel that this is stable if you put this block medium and this block here. I tend to feel that that's a little bit less stable for me, but you might like that. So you're going to be then pressing into your right hand on your right knee. Let the hips come forward. The pose is Anjaneyasana, that's right. Yeah. And then press into your right hand, and as you twist to your right, think of the twist as being really in the upper body and the heart. So press into your right hand and your left hand, and twist through your upper back, even up through the cervical spine. When you press into your right hand, remind yourself that you're not right now hammocking into your right hip joint. And the pressure of both hands against your knee and your blocks, it can give you a little feeling of moving into the back hemisphere of your body. Notice the twist in the upper back, even the cervical spine. See if that last part of the inhale might come up and meet you there on that twist. And then as you exhale, release your pose. Okay, glide your hips back. Straighten your right leg for a few moments. We're going to change the block. So now we put the low block aside and keep only the medium block. And then come forward again. So you're in your Anjaneyasana. Your left hand is a little bit lower on the floor. Still, it's the right foot forward and the left foot back. Take your right hand to your right knee. And as you twist now, press again into both hands and try to sense that the twist begins to include more of your mid-thoracic and lower thoracic spine. So again, press firmly into both hands. That's an important aspect of the pose because we do want you to be moving into the back hemisphere of your body. You're doing great. So the change of dynamic here with the block being lower, the left hand being lower, we should sense the mid-thoracic and the lower thoracic spine. They get to come into the twist. One more breath in, please. And then as you exhale to untwist, back your hips up, release your right leg for a moment, put the two blocks aside, keep them close enough, and place your left palm now flat on the floor and come forward once again to Anjaneyasana. So this time you're a little bit lower, you're more snug to your right thigh. Press your right hand against your right knee, left hand to the floor, and twist now to your right. And keeping the torso and your right thigh a little bit snug against each other. Notice where the twist goes now. If you take your tiny reflective mirrors into the inner body, these mirrors get reflection by listening and by seeing. And then exhale and unwind momentarily. You can back up your hips so that your right leg gets a moment of relief. We're going to stay on the right side, and I'll show the next one because we're going to go to the lowest version of the twist. And this is helpful to understand where we're going. You could use a block for this. You could put it on the flat setting like we did earlier under the left elbow, or you can come down so that you're going to place your left elbow on the floor. And you can hold your right foot because it's nice to say hi to it. And then you take the right hand on the right knee and we are twisting to the right once more. So for some of you to place your left elbow on the floor is going to feel like it's too far away. In that case, you place the left elbow on a block. You can still hold your left ankle, right ankle with your left hand, and we twist again to the right. And take your mirror-like mind again into the inner body to sense, where is the twist now? How is your breath participating with this twist? Do your best to keep your right thigh and your abdomen kind of snug with each other. So the pose has a little bit more flexion for the spine, not a little bit more extension. So not really a back bend in the twist, but a little bit more of a tone towards flexion for the spine. And then we'll exhale to unwind. Go ahead and reach for the floor, place your hands. And then this time you're going to step back with your right leg. We will be changing sides and we'll go to Amma's camera now. So those twists were all done on the right side. Let's just pause and see how are things feeling. So if you were to just be in Vajrasana with or without a block, you might actually have the sense that you're rotating kind of clockwise. And then step your left foot forward. We'll do the same sequence on the other side. So when you step your left foot forward, place one block on the flat and one block on the medium. That's where your right hand will go. It's the highest version of your twist. Place your left hand on your left knee. Good. And letting the torso stay upright so it's a much more free twist. Please twist to your left. Press your right hand firmly into your block so your elbow is straight. That's really good, Alma. So the twist we hope is kind of in the upper back, cervical spine. You can gaze over your left shoulder. You can also have your eyes closed if you prefer. And sense the pathway of the breath. You're looking inside and listening inside. All the reflections that come to you can be received without judgment. Therefore, we get to gather the information and truly learn from our experiences. We also get to see that things are intermittently rising and passing. And so breathing in. Good. Now let's release from this one and we'll go to the second layer down. So what you do is you can keep one block, put the small or flat setting block aside. So your right hand's going to be lower. Good. And you take your left hand to your left knee. And then slowly rotate to your left, sensing what gets to join the twist now. With a small change of dynamic, what happens in the twist? Let yourself listen to the reflections that come. Make no reflection worthy of an alarm or a judgment or even an analysis. We are listening and looking for the purpose of reflecting to learn. And then as you next exhale, release at this level of the twist. And now we will put the block aside and place your right hand on the floor, left hand on your left knee. So this isn't the lowest version of the twist, but it's the next lower down. So the left hand on the left knee, right hand firmly on the floor as you twist to your left. Listen for what now gets included in your pose. So your spine has a little bit more flexion than it did in the first twist. We are closer to the left thigh with the abdomen. What part of the spine now feels like it's included here? And we're going to exhale to unwind. And you can either choose now to put your right forearm on the floor, or you can place a block like this on the flat setting. And that can be for your right forearm there. So when you come down, you may place your right hand on your left ankle. Or if you're using the floor, you can place your right hand on your right foot. And please twist to your left. And you can keep it relatively snug, right? So you've got this opportunity here to sort of massage the inner belly, the back waist. You want that to broaden with the breath. And then when you next exhale, release, you can touch the floor, walk yourself back, and take your left knee in and down. Take a little seat and see if you're still going clockwise, or if you got enough counterclockwise that you actually feel centered. Listen inside for what is occurring right now. Imagine yourself as you're in that body of water, but you are also the water in every direction. You are the reflection on the surface of the water. You are the moon in the night sky. You are also the sun shining on the moon, reflecting on the water. Let's take a seat on a blanket for Upavista Konasana. So we'll go to Alma's camera. And the seat, Upavista is a wide angle seated forward bend. So we take a seat with the two legs out like this. Upavista Konasana. Stretch the legs out straight, Alma. That one's called frog pose. I can't remember how that is in English, no, Sanskrit, but this is Upavista Konasana. And then out like a wide angle. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is Upavista. Kona means angle, and the Upavista is the wide angle seated forward bend. So we're gonna walk forward, and this is a nice time to reach for a block or two to go under your forehead. This is an inward pose. And when you come down like this, if the blocks aren't capable of being tall enough to support your head, that's totally fine. We, of course, understand. You don't need to use them, but you could also raise them up a little bit higher or put your elbows on the blocks and then support your head with the palms of your hands. So in Upavista Konasana, it's an inward and reflective pose. And I'm going to ask you to keep the activity level of the muscles moderate to mild, and gently count the length of your breath, your inhale and your exhale. And see if now you might be able to lengthen your exhale a few counts longer than your inhale consistently. So if you can have it 2 paces longer than your inhale 3 times in a row, that would be called consistency. If it's 3 counts longer at 1 exhale and 1 count on the next and 4 on the next, that would be called inconsistency. And again, you're reflecting on the process for the purpose of learning. We're also participating with the process, so we can kind of encourage wise action inside. We just aren't coming at it with an agenda or with evaluation or judgment. Please walk your hands back towards your hips and rise up to sitting. Okay, and you can come back to my camera, Susie. I'm going to demonstrate a position that we'll use now for a little pranayama that goes to Shavasana. So you'll want to have 2 blocks for this pranayama. We have done this before, but it's worth seeing. The first block here is going to be for the shoulder blades. My second block is going to be for the head. To give this a little extra padding, we're going to use this blanket. So my blanket has a couple lumps in it. I'm going to change it so it's smooth. If your blanket got lumpy, you can do the same, like this. Okay, and then I want this blanket to go on these blocks. The thing is that I want my shoulder blades to be here, and I want the blanket to be where my lumbar spine is going to be. So I have to make a little guess on this. This is my first guess. Let me see if I'm doing all right. So when I lie back, oh, I guessed pretty well. So I've got this little bit of blanket here, and if you're able to see this, I don't know how clear it is. When I pick up my hips, I'm just going to curl this blanket to actually fit the shape of my lumbar spine right there, so that I feel the blanket at the top of my sacrum, lumbar spine. The block is under my shoulder blades, so the chest and heart are open. This block is under my head, so the cervical spine is also totally supported. And then the arms go out to the side, and the palms will be face down for the pranayama. Okay, and this is to get us ready for Shavasana, so this is a time to make this very comfortable. We're going to release this position for Shavasana, but I want your pranayama to be effective. So here you are. I will wait for you for a few moments. So you can get your blankets folded. Now, some of you might benefit from, during this pranayama, just lightly touching the sides of the ribs with your fingers, because you can, and it'll give you some feedback about how much the breath expands sideways. And others will have to just imagine the low belly, the ribs, the heart, because it won't feel like you need to move the hands if your mind is really able to be in those regions. But if you like the tactile feedback, please go ahead and do so. So we're going to aim for the first third of the breath. We'll pause. Then we'll have the middle third of the breath. We'll pause. Then we'll have the upper third of the breath. We're going to pause. And then we'll exhale from the bottom up towards the solar plexus. Let's try that. We're going to inhale for 3 and pause for 3. Inhale 3, pause 3, and so on. Let's begin. Inhale for 3, low third of the body. Pause for 3. Inhale for 3 to the mid-torso and the side ribs. Pause for 3. Inhale to the upper third of the torso and the heart. Pause for 3. From the base of the belly, exhale smoothly for 9 counts. Inhale, first third of the torso, 3 counts. Pause for 3. Inhale, mid-third for 3. Pause for 3. Inhale, upper third on the heart for 3. Pause for 3. Exhale from the base of the pelvis for 9 smooth counts. Try that again, please. And do it one more time. Last one. And let your body and your mind relax in the efforts dissolving. Listen to the echo. And you may gently curl yourself up, put the yoga pose aside, and come down for Shavasana. When you come to Shavasana, let yourself get really still, like profoundly still. Like the beautiful water reflecting the full moon in the night sky. So welcome yourself to become profoundly still. And listen inside in the body for where your body intelligence is recommending you quietly rest your attention. There may be a place in your body that feels particularly deep or at ease or relaxed right now. And that place may call your mind to take a seat there, to be at home in the present moment. Let everything in the body become deeply heavy and still. Your mind to take refuge in one place of really deep rest. Welcome everything to become deeply reflective, profoundly still. The full moon in the night sky, seen on the body of the water. You are the water itself. The moon in the sky, and the sun transmitting its light to the moon to the water. Allow the body to become heavier with relaxation, particularly where you have contact with the floor beneath you. Allow the mind and the body to get even a few degrees more still, remembering you are the water and the moon in the night sky, and the light reflected from the moon to the water, from the sun to the moon. And once more, allow the body to become deeply heavy. In that relaxation, you are the moon in the sky. You are the water. You are the light being reflected from the sun to the moon to the water itself. While the mind can stay very at ease and reflective in this, we will now just slightly wiggle the toes and the fingers and gently ask of your body, how would it most like to move to return to sitting? We do recommend that you roll to one side on your way back up and find your way to a seat that you would use in meditation. This is the real gem of your practice. It's when you get to come up and see what is the inner feeling tone now in your mind, in your consciousness, in your body. We're working through these processes that are physiological, neurological, subtle, dense, chakras, vayus, We come up to sit and find out, okay, what is alive now? Please bring your hands together at your heart. You can sing with me 3 times, So Hum, Hum Saha. So Hum, Hum Sa. So Hum, Hum Sa. So Hum, Hum Sa. It means in English, I am that I am, which means we are all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. We are all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. Rumi said it like this. He said, we are the space between the fish and the moon. We are the twinkling stars of the night ocean while we sit here together. We are the space between the fish and the moon. We are the twinkling stars of the night ocean while we sit here together. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. I'm going to come up closer. I get to see you, and we can have a little visit.